Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Elisa Sladinska, and I work for the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, BACP. Welcome to the BACP Business Education Workshop Webinar Series. We have adapted our regular business education workshops at City Hall into these webinars until further notice. On behalf of our Commissioner, Rosa Escarino, I want to inform you that business licenses can be processed online where applicable by visiting chicagobusinessdirect.org. And the websites and emails that I mentioned will be in the chat box available for you to reference later as well. And if you are part of the Business Start Certificate program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. If you want to learn about the program, please visit chicago.gov/businessworkshops. To help guide your business and employees during Phase 4 of Chicago's reopening process, please visit chicago.gov/reopening. Also, BACP and the City of Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications created Shy Biz Emergency Alerts. You can opt in to receive targeted emergency alerts for the business community. If you are interested, please visit chicago.gov/ShyBizAlerts. We encourage participants to ask questions during the webinar by using the chat box. Please make sure to send your questions to all panelists. We will have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. And today's webinar will be Power in the Pivot, Finding Answers Through People and Partnerships. It will be presented by Nikki Bravo, Executive Director at Ignite Technology and Innovation. Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you, Elisa. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank everyone here who's on the webinar, thank the Commissioner, Rosa Escarino, and the Chief Small Business Officer, Kenya Merritt, for inviting me to speak today. And I will go ahead and get started. So a little bit about me. My name is Nikki Bravo. I get to serve as the Executive Director of Ignite Technology and Innovation, which is a nonprofit. I have experience in the public sector, nonprofit experience as well, and entrepreneurial experience. Today I'll be speaking wearing my entrepreneurial hat. My favorite saying is, there is no box. A little fun fact about me is my superpower. My superpower is finding a way. It's linked to my favorite saying that there's no box. If I'm so constrained by what others, if I'm not constrained rather by what others say is possible, I'd like to think, what can I achieve? Well, I can achieve finding a way and getting things done. And I don't always have to be the one who knows. I know how to connect to people who have those answers. So who's Ignite Technology and Innovation? Ignite Technology and Innovation's mission is to create equitable wealth and shared prosperity in under-resourced communities. We really created this entity to develop affordable and accessible co-working spaces, classes, programs, and we really seek to inspire, encourage, nourish, and grow the untapped ideas of underrepresented entrepreneurs. The way in which we do that is by providing access to technology, resources, mentoring, and strategic connections. I do this on a day-to-day basis alongside the Chairman and President of Ignite Technology, who also happens to be my husband, Tracy Powell. Ignite Technology and Innovation runs Blue Lacuna Co-working Space in Pilsen and Momentum Coffee and Co-working that's located in the South Loop community of Chicago. And we'll talk more about that later. So this power in the pivot, finding these answers through people and partnership, that's today's topic. And I'm making a bold statement by saying you don't know what you don't know. And further, let's talk about how you can get on the track of success, reveal new opportunities, even in times of unprecedented uncertainty, even in times when we've never seen things like this before. There are ways to navigate this and find answers. Now, how do I know this? Because Ignite Technology and Innovation opened Momentum Coffee and Co-working smack dab in the middle of a pandemic. So I know a little bit about the power of the pivot. Today I'll share a lot about the making of Momentum Coffee and Co-working space and how it revealed to us that we were able to find answers through our established relationships and partnerships that we developed over the years. We've been able to open our space. We've been able to meet our customers' needs. We've been able to grow our business month over month. And during this all, we have redefined what we say is success, all during a time that is less than ideal. So this power in the pivot, right? Being able to face these challenges that were not on our SWOT analysis. Many of you know that have done your business plans. Those are my entrepreneurs, my solopreneurs, my small businesses, or even those that are in thinking about getting into business. The SWOT analysis, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. No one that I've spoken to had a global pandemic as on their list. Nonetheless, this is where we are. And so during the pandemic for Momentum Coffee and Co-working, in our case, it required us to shift from what we thought we would do. We thought we would have this customer experience of people coming into our shop and looking at our space and picking up their coffee at this location, and we were very careful about the flow of traffic into the pandemic, and we quickly needed to shift to online ordering and carry-out services much sooner than we had initially planned. And we'll talk about how we were able to do that successfully. So just small businesses in general, I think this is something that many of us know, that there are 30 million small businesses. Small businesses make up a majority of the businesses in the United States. So small businesses like Momentum. It makes me think about something that I heard recently that really stuck with me, and I'm paraphrasing this. We may all be in the same storm, but we're not all equipped with the same boat. Some of us have a yacht, and some of us just have an oar to navigate these waters. In this case, that storm would be a pandemic, an economy that we've never seen, and our boat would be our ability to be prepared, our ability to pivot, and our ability to meet this challenge. Our ability or inability to do that really makes all the difference. I say that access to resources, information, and tools is what is needed for businesses like ours and small businesses across the U.S. in order to be able to navigate these uncharted waters. So back to that statement that I made. You don't know what you don't know. Oftentimes, not for the lack of research or trying, the businesses find themselves in a situation that if they had only asked the right questions, they would have saved time, money, effort, crying maybe. It could look like not setting up the right type of organization that allows your business to scale. It could be It could look like not setting up your business separately from your personal assets. It could be simply not taking advantage of being able to take advantage of a grant because you're not the right type of business or don't have the correct type of paperwork. How it looked for Momentum Coffee was in an aspect of trademark. So we accessed a resource that has through BACP that many of you may or may not know, the Community Law Project. The Community Law Project helps small businesses and nonprofits on a various legal aspects. Our particular one that we worked with them on was our trademark. So Momentum Coffee, and I will say this, has a very cool logo. We use the power up sign. We think our name is cool, it's momentum, and we thought we would trademark this. So I certainly could Google that, but I would have to know the right keywords. So I would type in how to register a trademark. The amount of information came back was daunting. So enter the Community Law Project, who connected us with attorneys who do this on a day-to-day basis. And let me tell you, what I didn't know could take a whole hour in and of itself. What we simply thought we were going to register a trademark. What we quickly found out there was more to it. Did we want to register the logo? Did we want to register the logo and the name together? What was the name going to be Momentum Coffee? Was the name going to be Momentum Coffee and Co-working? In what areas did we want to trademark? I was so happy in those moments on the calls with the attorneys that we had accessed a resource that helped us to ask the right questions. Because quite frankly, there was so much that we did not know in this arena. I don't know that we ever would have gotten to making the coffee. So this is an instance where we did not even know what we didn't know, that there were so many nuances in the trademark process. Even things like, would we start nationally or did we want to start locally? Those types of things could have taken an inordinate amount of time away from the planning of our business. But accessing a resource like the Community Law Project and connecting us with an attorney made all the difference for us to be able to trademark our name, feel very confident that we were doing it in the correct way and it was meeting our needs. So the two things that really come up that you're going to hear me talk about today is ways that you can mitigate risk in starting your business, building your business, keeping the future in mind, being able to access valuable resources and creating opportunities is really through two key areas. For us, there are many, right? We've all been and heard about things. In our particular experience, there's two that really come to the top of being instrumental in what it is that we were doing. Those two things that really jump out for us are our relationships with people and our intentional collaborative partnerships. And so for the purpose of this presentation, when I talk about relationships, I'll be talking about people, and I will use those terms interchangeably. And when I'm talking about collaborations, I will talk about partnerships, and I will talk about those interchangeably as well. Again, in the story, I'm using Momentum Coffee and Co-working because we just opened this in May. And I thought this was a great opportunity for me to share how we were able to do this, what we had in place, and hoping that you can hear something for you that you can take forward with your business in either getting started, working with others, accessing resources, information, and tools that will help you to be successful. So let's jump in. In general, business relationships play a big part in the success of your business and finding resources. And generalists are great. That's me. I'm a generalist. I know a little bit about a lot of things. I told you I can find answers, I can make a way, I know it can be done, I won't be constrained by past experiences. But experts really do make all the difference. So who you seek advice from has a direct correlation to the type and the quality of information you receive. Experts answer questions that you don't even know to ask. I was recently talking to my friend and business owner, Lori, of All Buttered Up, about her entrepreneurial journey. And we talked about how early on she relied on her intuition and her get-her-doneness and her personality to get her business off the ground and going. I've known Lori for a long time, so it wasn't a matter of if she would be successful. It was really about how long it would take and how much effort it would take. So at a point, she reached a point where she wanted to take her business to the next level. And she made what she called a financial sacrifice. I called it an investment in her business. And for anybody that's not sure what I'm talking about, it's spending money. She signed herself up for a branding boot camp. She recognized that she needed to access an expert in the area, in particular, branding. She wanted assistance in branding her business. What she learned in her branding boot camp, she raves about daily. She uses what she learned daily as well. She was taught how to develop a process that allowed people to go from being a one-time customer to a client or a repeat customer. And they did this because they got to know, like, and trust her and her product. Now, Lori thought her goal was to sell the best whipped shea butter around. It smells great, it's wonderful. But what she learned through her boot camp was that she was really out there to build relationships with people who would come back to her time after time to ask her for advice, to look for new products, to find out where she was going to be selling next. She went in thinking that she was going to get one thing. That's what she knew. What she didn't know was that there was a whole nother world of working with customers that was available to her that would help her to pitch her business to anyone in under 30 seconds, where they were left really getting what she was about, what her product is, and really get from her how excited she was to share and do what it is that she does on a day-to-day basis. So other types of experts that are out there that we know but maybe don't always understand are really important to develop a relationship with. Our attorney. Our attorneys can help us in different ways. Our accountants, our healthcare brokers, our business bankers, our business centers like BACP, and our customers. All of these are relationships that need to be nurtured, developed, and leveraged so that we can access information that helps us build our business. Oftentimes, we think that we can do it ourselves. We simply want to Google it. I like Google University myself. However, experts in the field can help you to get to answers faster and really reveal other things that are particular to you. Another thing that Lori talked about and why she picked this particular boot camp was that the person that she was working with specialized in working with small businesses. That person worked with small businesses moving from one level to the next. All experts are not created for you. It is important to look for the person that really resonates with you, your mission, what it is that you need to do, take the time to find those people, and then you can access that information. The same person can say the same thing. Or the same person can say the same thing to different people, and those people will hear things differently. Why? We have our own ways of filtering information and getting information. So you're looking for people that really understand what it is that you want to do, but will also challenge you. So when I say a person who understands your business, I do not mean the expert that agrees with you. What I do mean is that the expert who will challenge you, the person who will ask you questions and give you things to think about that help you to drive your business forward. That is so crucial when you're looking and seeking advice. Because again, who you seek advice from absolutely correlates to the quality, the kind of information, and the type of information that you receive. Next, another relationship specific to Momentum Coffee and Co-working. It started out under Ignite, and you see there the grant writer in the middle. I could not have written the story, nor could I have foreseen at the beginning what we would have received and what led us to some very valuable resources when it started with a grant. So we, Ignite Technology, reluctantly invested in a grant writer. And I say reluctantly because I feel like I can read, I can write, I should be able to fill out this grant. This grant was for us to have funds to do youth entrepreneurship programming. So we decided, well, it was decided for us based on time or lack thereof and lack of bandwidth. It really dictated that we needed to have someone write this grant on our behalf. So we hired, right, we invested in our business, we spent money on a grant writer for this particular grant. We got the grant, but that's not the story. You can see that there's more in the circles that are on the screen. Once we got the grant, the grantor provided us with access to a resource called Catch a Fire. Now, Catch a Fire I had not heard of before, but it's out there. What they do is they provide skills-based volunteer matching for nonprofits. Ignite Technology is a nonprofit. So we went on Catch a Fire, and we were able to load a project based on what's the need of our business. They ask you, what do you need help for? What don't you have the bandwidth for? What is it that you don't have the time, money, energy to do that you absolutely know is important? That's when we met Tony. We put up a project for marketing, and then we honed in on what we actually needed. Tony helped us to rewrite our mission statement, and he did that by asking us a ton of questions that he asked multiple ways, multiple times, to really get at what we were here to do and what we were here to be. He really challenged us to look at the words and how we wanted to present ourselves to others. He let us know, and from his expertise, that the words did matter, and that we had to not only think about ourselves, but think about those that would be visiting our website, those that would be Googling us, really our future grantors, our future participants in our programs, really to think about what is the message that we wanted to convey. What is it that we wanted people to know? So Tony helped us rewrite our mission statement, and then from there, and that mission statement really resonated, and I was impressed, I have to say, with it. You heard me read it earlier, that equitable wealth and shared prosperity. It so encapsulated what it is that Ignite Technology is here to do and be, and working with the underrepresented entrepreneurs in and around the city of Chicago and beyond. Tony not only helped us with our mission statement, he also helped us write a press release for Momentum. And again, each thing that we did built on the next. So now that we had our mission, he wanted to understand how Momentum fulfilled that mission. So we tied in how Momentum Coffee and Co-working tied into the larger mission of Ignite Technology. He was very intentional. He was very welcoming and understanding, and he really taught us to look at these things with a particular eye. And I should not go without mentioning that Tony, this resource that we were able to access, is a Harvard grad and does copywriting for Fortune 500 companies. So we got access to a person who does this for corporations much larger than us and brought that skill set to us, and it was so, so great. So now that we had our newly written copy, we've got our mission statement, we've got our press release, we met Bruce. Another area that we identified that we needed assistance with was our presence on the internet. Everybody's on the web. And we're Ignite Technology and Innovation. We know that. We were online. But in particular with retail, what was important was search engine optimization. We needed people to find us. So also on Catch a Fire, we posted another project to work on our search engine optimization, and we were introduced to Bruce. So after an initial conversation about what he could do with us and what we needed, again, really seeing if we were aligned, we engaged Bruce to help us. He introduced us to Google My Business and how important that was for us. Little did we know that this was going to be a lifeline for us in the age of this pandemic, especially being a forefront. When traffic, the street traffic was almost nil, people were almost only finding us solely by a search, oftentimes Google. What we did with Bruce was work on what are the keywords, what are we here to do, really honing in again on what's your business, how are you different than others, how are you like others, who's your competition in the area, all of those things, and how those words play into people being able to find you online. He walked us through Google My Business. We had a series of meetings over a course of 2 to 3 months. He lent his expertise and knowledge to us, and we know that we would have paid thousands of dollars for this type of quality service that resulted in us being found by all of our now clients and customers at Momentum Coffee. So what's the real takeaway here? That people and relationships can lead to valuable resources. We started out with our grant writer. She learned about us. She talked about, in writing the grant, she really understood who we were here to be, what we were up to. And from there, we received a grant. From there, we received access to a resource. And then we were given access to 2 valuable folks that helped us to develop our business in a way that really we didn't even know was possible in such a short period of time, but for having their expertise. So that's our story in this regard. There's lots of other ways, but in the interest of time, I'm just highlighting those 2, Lori's story and ours for the grant writer. And I picked that one in particular because it wasn't the normal attorney helped us negotiate a lease. It really was unexpected. It wasn't prescribed. It was an instance where we said, hey, we're going to do this, and it led to so many other things. And I encourage everyone to look at in their experience as a business owner or going into business, who are those other relationships or people that I need to start speaking with or may start speaking with, I should consider start speaking with, so that I can access information and valuable resources. So let's get into the partnership and collaboration portion. So we talked about two things coming up. Talked about that were really integral for momentum during this pandemic and being able to pivot. People in relationships and partnerships and collaboration. So when you hear collaboration or partnership, for many people, what might come up is some fear. And it might sound something like, well, I don't want everyone to know my business, or I don't want somebody to steal my idea, or my idea isn't fully developed yet. It's not ready to share. It can take on many different forms. So I can't see any. I think that you're probably not in your head. I know that this is true, at least it was for us, at some time in my experience as a business owner, thinking, should I collaborate with this individual? Fear coming up about, is this the right collaboration? Is this the right time for the collaboration? I'm not sure how this might turn out. What I want to say to us now, and what I say to myself back then, if I could go back in time, is fear is instructive, not determinative. Again, fear is instructive, not determinative. What do I mean? I mean that fear is there to make you aware. Be aware of why that's coming up for you. What is it that you need to put in place that you can make that next step or not? The fear itself does not say, don't do it. It is there to say, be aware, look around, see what's next. What do I need to do? What step do I need to take? It's a pause. It doesn't need to be always have to be a stop. So I would say that don't let fear stop you from working with others. While you might hesitate in engaging in a particular partnership, put what you need in place to be able to at least explore an opportunity of collaborating or partnering with others. In this case, Ignite needed capital in order to open Momentum Coffee and Co-working. We have the idea of Ignite technology. We've developed a budget. We've got a business plan. Now, as many of us as entrepreneurs know, we've got to have that access to capital. Leveraging a relationship that we had, we worked with Chicago Trend. Chicago Trend is dedicated to transforming retail economics of neighborhood development. We entered into a financial partnership with Chicago Trend. We did this because, as some of you may or may not know, it can be difficult for nonprofits to take on debt. And as Ignite is organized as a nonprofit, we were finding it difficult to access debt in a traditional way. So we spoke with Chicago Trend, who is dedicated and focused on retail. Momentum Coffee is a retail. And because we already had experience with the co-working side, we decided to work together. Chicago Trend helped Ignite access funding through a CDFI. CDFI is a community development financial institution. And so Chicago Trend, backing Ignite technology, helped us to get the loan that we needed in order to acquire our location. It allowed us to purchase our equipment, pay our vendors, and get everything that we need, our consultants, and everything that we needed to do to bring Momentum to life. This relationship is a financial partnership. In that, Chicago Trend has a financial interest in momentum. And I will be honest, at first I was hesitant to say, do I want and should we enter into a relationship where we are going to provide a return on investment? And as we talked with the folks from Chicago Trend, we realized that this really was a win-win. They want to and have and do invest in neighborhoods and businesses and businesses like ours. And by getting a return on investment, they're even more interested in ensuring that we win. So entering into what is a financial partnership also brings to us everything that Chicago Trend has at its disposal. They often share resources for us, for our business, send folks our way. So what started out as an access to capital really developed into a partnership where we have another entity that is only looking for us to succeed. Had we been fearful or too hesitant or even not willing to enter into a relationship with them in this way, we likely would have had a much longer road to accessing our capital. By having Chicago Trend in our corner, momentum is open. Ignite Technology and Innovation now has a loan, and it has a credit history that is building as well, making future access to capital possible as well. So we get the loan, and now it's time to make the coffee. So this is the next slide here really talks about our leveraging a partnership that has experience. Leveraging a partner, rather, that has experience. Leveraging a partner that has experience can save you money, time, and a lot of worry. In the instance of coffee, we have a coffee collab with Dark Matter. We had never opened a coffee shop before. As I said earlier, we had a co-working space. We love coffee, Tracy and I, but we had not actually run a coffee retail business. So we went to and spoke with the folks at Dark Matter. Dark Matter has 7 locations on the north side of Chicago. So we entered at first a wholesale relationship, meaning that we were purchasing our beans. We committed to purchasing our beans from Dark Matter. They have coffee. It's really good coffee. And so we knew that we wanted to have a really good product. And so we went with them. We spoke with them. We were also mission aligned. They are the people that we decided to work with, not just because of the coffee. Ultimately, it was because of the other things that they were able to provide to us as well. Dark Matter came in and trained our staff. Dark Matter committed to coming back and doing training as long as we were working with them and purchasing the beans. One of the things that we didn't know, but was so wonderful that also came out of this collaboration with them and this partnership, is that they provided us a list of vendors. Why was this so important? We had never opened a coffee shop before. And certainly, as we talked about earlier, I could Google many times over where to purchase the cups, where you purchase the containers, where to purchase the filters, all of those things. However, Dark Matter said, we can help you. What it took was for us to say, hey, we need help, we don't know, and we're open to learn. Once we opened the door and said those things, Dark Matter was more than happy to share with us and let us leverage the benefit of their experience. they didn't want us to have the same missteps that they had. They wanted to shorten that runway for us of success. So they opened up and provided us a list of vendors, the best products to use, gave us options, told us the things that we need now and the things that we could wait for later. They shared with us some of the pitfalls that they had experienced. And I tell you, all of that knowledge that they shared with us was so beneficial. It saved us hours of time, hours of effort, and then we're just left to make our own new mistakes, not the ones that have been made time and time again. Moving this from a wholesale partnership into, or a vendor partnership relationship, really into a wholesale partnership relationship. We really feel as though Dark Matter cares about our business, that Dark Matter cares that we're successful, that Dark Matter is invested in our success. We are connected. How? The more beans we sell, the more beans we buy from them. The more people that are exposed to their brand in and around in other areas of the city that they're not currently located. It really became a partnership that leveraged their experience, that helped us to build our business, so that now we're in the position to help that next coffee entrepreneur and share with them the things that we learned, so that they don't have to learn those things as well. And I'll just say that they were there, Dark Matter was there with us from the beginning, before we even opened our doors, and recently came for a visit to Momentum. And I tell you, the smile on their face was like a proud parent, or maybe I should say a proud partnership moment. There was definitely a wow and an excitement and just a real understanding that what they did for us and with us resulted in us being here even in uncertain times, even in a time that can be called difficult, but it absolutely provided an opportunity for us to show what we can do. Another type of partnership and collaboration that's been instrumental for Momentum is with our vendors in terms of our in one area, pastries. So you can imagine that before we started, we did taste testings. We had all of this lined up. We knew who we were going to purchase from. We figured how often. It was in our plan. And then the pandemic. What we realized when we decided we were going to open is that the vendors that we had been working with prior all had minimums and minimum volumes, meaning that they would only deliver to us if we purchased a certain amount. And that's what it was. So what were we going to do? We knew that people like to have pastries with their coffee. We knew that we just didn't want to have only coffee. What could we do when the folks that we had already planned to use were not able to meet us where we were at that time? Enter Pika Sweets, a flexible partner, a partner who demonstrated flexibility in a time when we needed most. We met Pika through another relationship, Miss Nelisa Heath from the Look Chicago. She had worked with us over at our Blue Lacuna location, Miss Heath, in the Look Chicago Entrepreneur Showcase. And we had the benefit of tasting Pika's sweets, her cupcakes, fabulous. So we knew her. Nelisa let us know that Pika was interested in providing us with, or vying for the business of providing some pastries, muffins, cupcakes at Momentum. We met with her. We talked. We liked her. We hadn't had the opportunity prior to really speak. We liked her. We liked her business model. And we said, yes, let's do it. What really got us to yes is Pika's willingness to be flexible. She said, I got you. I know that you don't know how many people how often you're going to order, how much you're going to order on a day-to-day basis. We will work this out. We really did breathe a sigh of relief in those moments because when you open your business, just to give you some context, when we opened on May 4th, those first week or so, we had 7 people. You can't order 100 cupcakes if you only have 7 folks, right, coming through the door, right? It's the middle of a pandemic. So working with a flexible partner who was a flexible vendor who was willing to work with you and meet you where you are made all the difference for us. What happened for us, and in return, what we did is we highlight Pika at our location. So we don't so what do I mean? We don't white label it and say this is Momentum's Cupcakes. We say this is Pika. We put her logo up. We let folks know how they can find her and the other things that she does. So this moved from a real vendor purchasing relationship to real partnership and collaboration, where it was absolutely mutually beneficial for us to do this at this time. She has her own business in her own right, but having another location where she was able to showcase her business to another group of people that she might not have reached before really ended up being a beneficial thing for both of us. And it required and needed flexibility in order to do that. And there's many other partnerships and collaborations. I could not, in this span of time, talk about all of them. But this last one I wanted to make sure I highlighted as well, because this really talks about, I think that's something that is required of any collaboration, which is trust. Our artful collaboration, as it's described here, is with a fine artist and muralist, Joe Nelson, who goes by Cujo Da. We hired Joe after meeting him through a mutual friend to do the art in our space. It's a coffee shop. We knew that we wanted to have a certain visual experience for our customers in our space. We know we wanted a certain vibe, if you will, and a way that you felt when you came in. And so we had these, and we saw Joe's work. We knew that he had what it took, and we were looking for that at the Momentum site. We wanted something unique, something that spoke to who we were, that spoke to all of the things that we wanted to convey to people, coffee, co-working community. In those initial meetings, we talked back and forth about exactly what I shared with you just now, and Joe gave ideas. And I will just admit to all of you that I was in the weeds. I was at the paint store. I was picking at colors. I was saying what I liked and what I didn't like, and I was in it. And Joe was really working with us because he loved the space, so he really wanted it to come out and really have the feel that we wanted. He wanted to please us as his client. And so after a few meetings where we just were not meeting the mark, what I realized is that we were stifling his creativity, or maybe I was stifling his creativity. That was what we were doing, and the way that we were engaging in our relationship with us looking at every particular thing that he was bringing forth was not going to get us to what we wanted. We needed to release and let go and let Joe do Joe. And that's what we did. We said, do you. And let me tell you, the result was phenomenal. What he brought to our space, I could not have imagined. It is more than I could have ever asked for. What did that require? It required, to get to that point, it required us to have trust, for us to release every little piece and saying it's going to be so, releasing that outcome, and just talking about the intention, talking about how we wanted it to feel, how we wanted people to experience this, and know and trust that we picked the person that got what it is that we were saying. Joe created not only a beautiful mural in our space, we revealed a new opportunity as we went through, as he brought in additional art pieces into the space on the wall. We had planned to paint the wall a certain color. Joe said, I have these pieces that we're going to go, that we saw, and we said, he accidentally sent them to us in an attachment to an email. There are no accidents. And we said, hey, we would like those pieces. He put those pieces in the space, and it just brought everything together. Again, trusting your partner, releasing and allowing for new opportunities for your business really can happen and has happened through our Momentum Coffee and Co-working journey and our Making of Momentum story here. Even more came out of that relationship with Joe. As he put his artwork on the wall, not only did our customers get more interested about wanting to come into our space, we were actually an opportunity for a new customer to come to our space. Joe advertises and has his work, showcases his work online. Someone saw his work online and came to Momentum to purchase it. The person had never heard of Momentum Coffee and Co-working before and came only to buy that piece. He came in to the space, we let him in, and he took a tour. He said, wow, this is great. I didn't know this was here. He then went on, bought some coffee, and stayed for a while and chatted about what he did. This was something we could not have and did not talk about and did not say that know that was going to happen. We had a new opportunity reveal itself once we just trusted, released, and say, let's move forward and see what happens. Again, another story that I could not have written when we started out saying that we were hiring someone, that's something that really transformed into a collaboration. Our experience through both working with people and collaboration has really made all the difference in Momentum Coffee and Co-working coming into form in the way that it is today. We are excited and highlight so much our partners because we know that we would not have been able to do it without them. And while today I wasn't able to speak about all of them, I wanted to highlight a few in a few different areas so that you absolutely understood what it is that we did and how it worked for us. What I did not talk about, but what is also true, is that every person that we intended to have a relationship with, we weren't aligned, and we let those go. Every partnership is not intended to last forever. Some are for a particular period of time, some partnerships are for a particular project, and some might be for a particular purpose. I say be curious and explore and see what's there for you so that you can absolutely learn how to ask the right questions, and you can access that resources and reveal some of the opportunities like you've heard today through people and partnership. So when we talk about developing relationships, well, let me step back. So that's the presentation. I want to also just leave you with some key takeaways and actions. So developing relationships. We talked about what those were across particular business relationships, and it could be your personal relationships, your mom, your dad, your cousin, your this, but we're talking also about experts in that area. So if you're fill in the blank, your cousin is an attorney, but not a real estate attorney, you need to negotiate a lease, you want a real estate attorney. Really seek experts. Those things will help you to save time and allow you to spend time on your business. Invest in your business. There are going to be some resources that you are able to access that are free, and some you're going to have to invest. Again, invest means spend money, or in Lori's case, make the financial sacrifice. It might not always be evident at first, but have my ability to be able to ask my accountant how donating a car to a nonprofit helps me or not, how setting up or buying a thing in a certain way impacts my taxes, or asking my insurance agent, am I covered for certain things? Expertise is very valuable. Finding people who are also invested in your business and what it is you do is very important. Engaging in mission-aligned partnerships. That is key. Mission-aligned partnerships are inclusive and not exclusive. For the people that I talked about today, they all understand that Tracy and I are committed to having inclusive partnerships, meaning that I will work with you and I will work with others. This is not just a one opportunity. We do believe that we're better together, and we want to continue to build on one another. So we enter into partnerships with folks that understand that we want to work with lots of different people so that we can really build and scale. Last, I will say explore additional resources and programs that support your business. You're on this webinar today, provided by BACP. That is one. Organizations like ours, Ignite Technology and Innovation, has a series of things that you may access that can help you as well. We have co-working space. We have a crowdfunding platform. Yes, we have our own crowdfunding platform for businesses. We have youth and adult programming. We also have something that's very exciting now, excuse me, exciting now, the Ignite Entrepreneur Initiative, where we entered into another partnership where we are seeking to provide access to a platform for small business and entrepreneurs, and we want to provide that free for 5,000 entrepreneurs in the Chicagoland area. And what that platform has is 300 plus modules that support your business in all those aspects that we were talking about today, your attorney, your banking, your setting up your business, all in one location, and really creating a community around that. So really exploring those programs and resources, getting the information, and leveraging relationships are really key. The next slide, for those that are on the line and maybe don't see it, it has a lot of our partners. For Ignite Technology and Innovation, this is certainly not all of them. This is probably from last year. But really the takeaway here is that we're not doing this alone. And we don't purport to say that we are doing this alone. We have benefited from the work and collaboration with a lot of other people. And in turn, part of why I'm doing this today is to share with you and to continue to share information with folks that can help them the way that we have been helped. I want to make sure that we continue to contribute to others so that you do exactly what it is that you seek to do in your business. So that's the end of the presentation. I invite you to follow us on social media. Again, Ignite Technology and Innovation. From there, you can see the things about momentum. We have our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter, and our LinkedIn. The best way to reach, oftentimes when I speak, people say, how can I reach you? The best way to reach me is info@Ignite Technology and Organization. One of the things that small businesses always talk about is their capacity. And so one of the things we have invested in is a team and building our team. So more than one person checks this email address, info@ignitetechnology.org. So that's the best place to email if you'd like to reach out. Finding out more information on ignitetechnology.org and follow us so that you can get access to some additional resources that we seek to provide free of cost to entrepreneurs in the Chicagoland area. I do thank you for this time and opportunity to share a little bit about our Making of Momentum story, about the things that we have done as Ignite Technology and Innovation, and things that we seek to do in partnership and collaboration, building on our relationship with others. Thank you.
Nikki, thank you so much for this presentation. I think you spoke very well in terms of like the partnerships, the collaboration, everything to make this, come to fruition. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
You're welcome.
Okay. We did have a couple questions come through. There we go. First question is, are you both a for-profit and nonprofit? If so, what was your process for incorporating both? Was the process simultaneous or one at a time?
Okay. Yeah. So Momentum Coffee and Co-working is underneath the umbrella of Ignite Technology and Innovation. We were intentional about having Ignite Technology and Innovation being a nonprofit entity. That is because we were mission driven, and that's what I was interested in doing. And then under that, we have it runs and owns the Momentum Coffee and Co-working. Our process for doing that was working with the attorneys. So I think I spoke earlier about the community law project, the low cost attorney assistance. Again, the time that we spent, the time they spent with us to really suss out what it is we intended to do, how we wanted to run our business, how we worked with our accountant on how it would impact us with regard to our taxes, with the way that we formed our business. So those are the folks that you got to talk to, and that's where we landed on not having it as a separate entity, but Momentum falling under Ignite Technology and Innovation, the nonprofit. Elisa, did I answer that question? I think there was another part.
Was the process simultaneous or one at a time?
Okay, so Ignite has been around for a few years, and then Momentum was after. So we had started with Ignite Technology. So it was not simultaneous. It was one after the other.
Thank you. Next question. Thank you so much for this informative question. I've already registered my business assumed name, but can you explain more about how to register my logo?
So with regard to your logo and trademark, and that is what I would say to you is access the community law project, because what I spoke about is there's so many nuances to it. Register, and what we learned from this project is that you can have your logo, but what area are you registering it in? So in the case of Momentum Coffee and Co-working, we're registering the power symbol as it relates to coffee and as it relates to business, right? So the co-working aspect, right? We're saying Momentum Coffee and Co-working. We can't register this logo for everything, right? We can't make you take it off the computer power button, right? That's not an area that we're working. So that's very nuanced. BACP, that is one of the resources that they have. I think that the Community Law Project is under the Chicago Civil, I don't know the whole name, it has a long acronym, but it is one of the resources under BACP that, and they've done some presentations about accessing attorneys that can assist with this exact thing. That's what we did, because there's so many nuances to it. So I would encourage anyone to not do it themselves. If you can, access an attorney who can help you get to the right questions and really find out what it is you're intending to do. Oh, and the other part of that is that they helped us with the research to see what was already out there, right, outside of our, regular search engine, Google search.
Thank you. And I do want to mention that the Community Law Project was formerly known as that. They are now the Chicago Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights. And I put the link to their website in the chat box. It is www.clcrul.org. Nikki nailed it right on the head. They are a partner of ours for the Solution Station, which right now we are not doing in-person counseling sessions, but you could still reach out to the organization and they will assist you with any type of legal advice that you may need.
Yeah, I told you it was a long acronym.
Absolutely.
But that resource is so, I can't say enough about it.
I agree. They're great resource partners. And then another question came in. What would be a for-profit equivalent for Catch Fire?
A for-profit for Catch a Fire? I would have to look, because both of those, so there's Catch a Fire, I know there's Taproot that I've accessed before, and for volunteers. So what I would say, in the absence of having an equivalent for the for-profit, what I would say is BACP is going to have a lot of those resource partners that can also help you. And through those resource partners, what you get is folks that will either have low cost or no cost services that can help you for your business. Absolutely.
Thank you. I do want to mention that this webinar is being recorded, will be made available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Chicago BACP. Another question came in. How long did it take to register and trademark the power and the range of its cost? Oh, sorry.
Yes. So it was a course of months, right? And so we are, and even getting to submitting the applications. Part of that process was, one, determining which marks we wanted to actually register under which areas. It took some research on behalf of the attorneys to see what was available. Could you even register the power symbol, right? We dared to ask the question because like I told you before, there's a way. So they did ask that question and saw that we could do that. It did take time, for them to be able to determine that. They looked to see that there was another Momentum Coffee. How would that impact us? We also had to make decisions about whether or not we wanted to do this on a local level first and then national. And then each mark, so the cost for that service was done through the Chicago Committee law that I didn't write down. Was done through the resource partner, and then we were responsible for paying for each one of those marks. And I want to say that each one was $250, like the registration for each, but do not quote me. But each one cost something. What our attorneys did was absolutely let us know which ones they thought were most important and which one we should do first. And that's what we selected so that we would not spend too much money and money that we didn't have, have to spend. So having someone who knows this, having the benefit of their expertise, made a difference in that regard, because if I was left to my own devices, I might have thought I had to spend all of this money. And they said, no, here's where you start first, and then you go to the second, the third, the fourth. And so I think we ended up doing about 3 or 4 at the first time.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, what resources or partners are you still looking for? You clearly connected with a lot of organizations and partners, a lot of collaboration. Do you still find yourself reaching out to those connections, or are you looking for new ones?
Oh, absolutely. And I would say looking, maybe I'll switch that to open to, right? And so how does this happen? And it happens in a day-to-day situation. Like we're introduced to people, people will hear me speak, I will hear people speak, and there might be something there for them or for me. And then we'll connect. We have a conversation. Sometimes I speak to people and we don't find how we're going to work together in that moment, but it might be something later. So we always engage in conversations. Really, the key is sharing information, telling people what you're up to, what I'm up to, being open and authentic about maybe where our pain points are, and that's how we find out someone's got a solution. It has never come, I've never been able to find a partner by being secretive or closed about where my pain points and problems are. It really has come out of saying, hey, we need this. I don't know this. I'm not sure how to get it. It's been difficult. So for us right now, I mean, you heard kind of what the business that we're in, and I'm open, and we remain open to partners. We do so much as Ignite Technology and Innovation. So we look at technology partners, we have a space. So we look at, do people need space to deliver programming and content? It really runs the gamut. And so what I would say is, if something came up for you during this webinar that you think, hey, let's explore, don't hesitate. Reach out to info@Ignite Technology. Let's set up a call and talk about, what's the what.
Okay, thank you. Another question is crowdfunding just for new businesses starting out? Can a business that has had trouble reopening apply?
Absolutely. A business that is reopening can apply. So crowdfunding is simply using the power of the crowd to fund, similar to like a Kickstarter. We have the Blue Fund Rewards program. And we're dedicated to helping businesses in our community, especially and essentially the things that you've just asked a question about, restarting, right? Telling your story and why your business matters and how people can absolutely contribute to you to help your business grow. And in turn, right, we talked about small businesses being the fabric of the U.S., in turn, build our communities. So we want small businesses that are new and existing and find themselves needing capital using our crowdfunding platform and using it as a way to share their story and allow others to contribute to them and contribute to their success. And that will be on our website too, but it's called bluefundrewards.com.
Great, thank you so much, Nikki. I believe that wraps up our questions. If there were any questions that didn't come through, or if you think of a question later in the day, or even next week, feel free to reach out to Nikki. The contact information is on the slide. I'm just going to read it out loud. The email is info@ignitetechnology.org. Nikki, thank you so much for kicking off everyone's Friday morning. I wish everyone a happy weekend. Nikki, any parting words or advice?
Again, just thank you. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the engagement. I would say if anyone sent me a message in the chat, just reach out, please, if you will, to info@Ignite Technology. That's the best way. And what I'll say is we're all navigating these waters, and there are things that are possible. And until I get to see you again, #keep the momentum.
Love that. Everyone, have a good rest of your day. Thank you for joining our webinar this morning.